Christmas is next week already, and a lot of people haven't finished their shopping and are still out hunting for bargains, but few are as clever and as unethical as this Walmart shopper who revealed her secret to bargain hunting, so to speak, on social media. And I'll give you one guess as to what her demographic is.
Listen, y'all, I cannot make this up. Somebody dropped a receipt at Walmart. I went and picked it up.
Like in the parking lot when she was on the way in?
When it got everything that was on the receipt, put it in my basket. Then the man at the door said, "Can I see your receipt?" I say, "Yes, sir." So I just got down for $95.10. Ain't God good?
Ain't God good? I think you're worshiping Satan, lady. And speaking of Christmas shopping, tomorrow, Tuesday, December 16th, is the last day to order anything from markdice.com and get it in time for Christmas. But because you are now officially a slacker, someone telling you that this day was coming soon, you have to pay a few dollars more for rush shipping. But use the promo code SLACKER at the checkout. You could save 20% off. Also, there is a new digital gift card which you can buy, and then it just emails the link to somebody, and then they can click it and it'll bring them to the store, and then they can activate and use that gift card at any time in the future. So head on over to markdice.com, get your Trump Claus sweatshirts for Christmas dinner to make them extra special. Also a bunch of new drinkware there, all the classic designs available in coffee mugs and beer glasses, as well as the usual shirts and other merch. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out. And speaking of the usual suspects and their behavior patterns regarding shopping, here is an interesting press conference from a sheriff in Pennsylvania recently.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. I think I have a very interesting press conference. First and foremost, I want to compliment the Cocoa Tigers. They won the championship after finishing the season 15-0.
Wait for it.
It was the Atlantic Coast Youth Athletics Association. And they beat the Thoroughbreds 26-6. I mean, they didn't just beat them, they ran over them. And the Thoroughbreds were from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So, Cocoa Tigers, you did it the right way. That's teamwork with great young men doing the right thing. Now I want to introduce you to 8 of the Thoroughbreds. And here they are. You look at the Thoroughbreds.
And we're noticing a pattern. The same pattern that repeats itself every single day.
And you find out, what were they doing? What were they doing on Saturday morning? Well, let me tell you what they were doing. They Ubered from where they were staying. They had come from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, down to the Dick's Sporting Good in Posner Park.
Well, that's because they're athletes, right? I mean, that's certainly normal behavior.
Not only did they Uber down there to shop, they had no intentions of paying for their product. So they came into the store in 2 groups, and they began to systematically steal product.
What a surprise.
And that's exactly what they did. They stole, and they stole, and they stole, and they stole, and they stole.
Oh.
Yeah. How do you like that?
Well, it's what you should expect.
This is everything that they stole. And guess what? As we've said before, you can't go any place, anytime that you're not on a camera.
Thankfully, the usual suspects still haven't figured that out after, 20 years, 25 years of HD security footage all over? But it's incidents like this which happen every single day, every single time the minute hand on a clock moves in certain areas, that some local officials are uncomfortable releasing the mugshots of people who've been arrested for crimes. Or in the case of the San Francisco BART officials, it's like the train system over there, up there, they decided to stop releasing the surveillance tapes after there was an ongoing problem of robberies because of fear of racial stereotyping. Let me just rephrase that in order to continue to cover up the actual crime statistics, because we all know that 13 do 50. But because black crime is systematically swept under the rug by mainstream media, suppressed by social media algorithms, and completely ignored by Democrats in Congress, the usual suspects are rarely ever confronted with the reality of their bad behavior and its effects on their community and the country. And so when they occasionally are faced with a mirror showing who they actually are and what society thinks of them, then they have a stage 4 black fragility meltdown. Like the guy who filmed this video. It's so bizarre, I can't even begin to describe it. You just have to see it. Obviously, this mentally handicapped kid used the little N-word in the guy's presence. Probably just happened to see him and then just muttered it aloud to himself, having probably a high degree of pattern recognition. And then this happened.
Make sure you tell your son to watch his mouth. He's using derogatory terms.
He's not my son.
Well, whoever he is.
He is a special needs.
She's a caretaker. She said, obviously, he's special needs.
You cannot make him stop.
He can stop saying that. How did he learn the word?
He learned it from people at school.
So why he
His
using
family
it?
doesn't talk like that.
So why he using it against other people?
He's special needs, sir.
But he
You
know.
understand that?
So why he knows
Let's
to
go.
call me?
Let's go.
Come on, man, get out of here. You're on camera.
You don't understand.
I don't
He
need to
has a
understand.
genetic disorder.
But he's smart enough to know.
brain-
And despite that, he is obviously clearly smarter than the guy filming this video.
It's not right.
But he knows where to use the word
Okay,
at and
leave me alone.
who to use it to.
Leave me alone.
Then get out of here.
Actually, Tyrone, he may not have learned it in school. There may have been another reason.
I learned it by watching you.
That's probably the case, and we all know how a certain group of people reacts when they hear that little word. I'd say half of them actually don't get offended. They just use it as a way to leverage power over white people. The other half, obviously, due to various cognitive disorders such as a low ability for temperament regulation and low impulse control, then just fly into an angry rage. Like supposed comedian Roy Wood, who is a panelist on a weekend show on CNN that's dubbed a comedy show, which is like a ripoff of The Daily Show. Seriously, on the weekend, on like Saturday nights, CNN has a supposed comedy show, a wannabe Daily Show. And here he is on a podcast talking about how he recently learned some of his ancestry, and his ancestors were slaves, which means that he actually should be thankful that they were brought here as slaves, because otherwise, if they weren't, then he most likely would have been born in a dirt hut in Africa, never even owning any shoes. But of course, he just can't get over something that happened 400 years ago, and is so psychotic about it that he admitted this.
Found the white family that purchased the first black wood of my bloodline off the slave ships in Charleston.
Yep.
Of course, that were enslaved and put on the ships by other black people in Africa. They always want to forget about that part.
That's what we came off of.
If I wanted to today, I could find the white wood descendants in southern Georgia and pull up on their house. One day I will.
Yeah.
They ain't got no money though. I Zillowed they crib. They broke. Like, yeah.
Which is one of the many reasons why we're seeing more and more white people like this, whose black fatigue has just boiled over.
Who lives in Raleigh, I suffer from tremendous anxiety.
She says that anxiety and the women's behavior pushed her to act as she did.
I'm not going to say I'm sorry to them because they kept pushing at it. So, and that's all I'd really like to say.
What about your use of the N-word?
I used that word because they forced me into it.
Do you see how that's incredibly offensive?
Yes, I do. That's why I said it. I would say it again to them.
And people like Shiloh Hendricks and the Cinnabon worker in Wisconsin, who both had experienced high degrees of Somali immigrant fatigue. Not to mention the great Lily Gaddis, who has taken the torch of white women really expressing how they actually feel about certain people and ran with it.
Would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
I do, quite frankly.
Come to think of it, I said it a few times over the weekend myself, and I'd like to hear Matt Walsh admit that. I'd like to hear other YouTubers, others who are supposedly on the front lines of the culture war admit that. Not to hear them say it on stream. That would be cutting off your nose to spite your face in some cases. Someone like Matt Walsh actually could do that, and really should do that in order to push the envelope even further, to move the Overton window even further. But have any of them ever admitted that they use that term even a couple times a year in their own personal life off camera? And I would say if you don't use that word at least maybe twice a year, let's just say, to be extremely conservative, I would say maybe average should be about once a quarter at least. Once every 3 months, it's probably applicable. For others, it's, probably on a weekly basis, depending on what kind of topics you're talking about. But if that word isn't part of your vocabulary, if you're one of these conservatives, like all these mainstream conservative Inc. wannabes who, pretend like they've never said it, or if they did, it was a long time ago, and they didn't really mean it, you are a loser. Of course, Lily Gaddis gets labeled a white supremacist because she's a beautiful white woman who has great pattern recognition ability and is one of the rare ones who isn't afraid to describe certain kinds of behavior that she sees. But in reality, it's people like Michelle Obama who are actually white supremacists because she views white people as better than her. And that's clear with discussions like this.
Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all.
In this video from 5 years ago, during the Summer of Love, the George Floyd insurrection went viral again over the weekend after somebody resurfaced it, and it got millions and millions of views. Because obviously not everybody is a total news junkie plugged in all the time. So it was new to a lot of people. So I'll just play a little bit for you, just in case you happened to have missed it. It's a bunch of celebrities apologizing for being white.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment.
For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
You mean for ignoring black crime? For ignoring black fragility? You should be held accountable for that. Shame on you.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Racist jokes are hilarious, and stereotypes are just pattern recognition.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small.
Every time I remained silent.
Every time I explained away police brutality.
Every time you lied about what really happened when black suspects got themselves killed.
Or turned a blind eye.
When I didn't post about it on Twitter, I'm sorry. I think we've all had enough of them, and I'll save the discussion for the black fragility surrounding Santa Claus being white, maybe for another time. Why isn't there more diversity in Santa Claus? Because Santa's white snowflake, and so is Trump Claus. And like I said, tomorrow, Tuesday, is the last day to order anything from arcdice.com and get it in time for Christmas. Use the promo code SLACKER to save 20% off. And wear Trump Claus to Christmas dinner to make it extra special. But a whole bunch of other stuff available in the store. A bunch of new mugs in black and white, beer glasses, women's cuts as well. So go get yourself an alligator Alcatraz shirt, the sorry no vacancy, deport them all shirt, war is a racket, conspiracy theorists are right, or any of my awesome designs, all available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below, slackers, and check them out.